Okay, so we're gonna talk beta balance update. Heart of the Swarm, new patch just came out. I literally just woke up, guys, so um, yeah, that explains why I sound like a zombie and all that kind of crazy shit. Um, Gaming is so funny, man. Um, so obviously, there was some talk lately about the Blizzard team wanting to buff mech for TVP a bit, but they didn't want to screw up TVZ and TVT because if you make you have to be really careful, particularly with mech in regards to TVZ, as a lot of people know. Mech is quite strong in TVZ, but if you mess with it, it kind of um, you can really screw it up and turn things into a Terran will smash every TVZ. TVTs will become like because a lot of people, yeah, as Gamer said, patch goes lives in half an hour, so not too long. I really want to play some Terran with this, but unfortunately I can't because there's a C clan league going on, which is starting up this week, next week, something like that. And I kind of have to practice because I'm playing Terran in that league, so I have to play Wings of Liberty Terran. And if I play Heart of the Swarm Terran and I get used to siege tanks no longer require siege mode, I'm gonna screw up in the C clan league. So that's kind of fucked me up. But anyway, yeah. So you have to be really careful when buffing mech, just because it can just totally destroy TVZ. And depending on how you buff it, you can really screw up TVT as well. Because at the moment, like everyone sort of says that mech is really good in TVT. It's just that it's hard to use and not necessarily hard to use, but it requires a lot of positional and tactical skill to pull it off comparatively to Bio, which is obviously, of course, the big bonus of that. Anyway, so we'll have a look and just go over it just quickly. Like, obviously, as I said, I'm still just waking up, so I'm still kind of reacting very, very suddenly. And as everyone saw on Twitter, my first straight reaction to the first one was really interesting. And I kind of find it really annoying that they've separated these two parts of this part of the patch. But Barracks Train Reaper no longer requires a Tech Lab add-on. I think we're going to see a lot more people going for CC first in every matchup, and then just grabbing whether it be one racks or two. I'd probably still say two. Like I don't think the safe path would be going for one, but I'm not really sure. I don't. As weird as it sounds, being a very macro based player and still being a mech player, I don't actually CC first that often. So it's rare to see that. But anyway, so yeah, that'll change a few things. Like for me, playing as a mech Terran only, I think that'd be interesting for TVP, just purely because you could use that without overcommitting to a Rax. Like when you go for like if you were to go for a Reaper opening now, as it is now, you have to make that tech lab, and then you have to say, all right, well, I'm going to make, 2, 3, maybe even 4 Reapers, and then you kind of like, all right, well, I got to switch this over now, and then the barracks is kind of useless, but it's useless anyway. But the point is that Reaper opening is kind of a little bit weird. But what are you guys talking about siege tank timings? Oh, okay, you're talking about if you. Okay, yeah. We'll get to that in a second. Just hold on, guys. Just hold your horses, all right? Just calm down. Calm down. All right, calm down. So yeah, so the Train Reaper. To me, this really does screw around with TVT because already in HOTS, TVT is basically a Reaper fest because you have to spend like you either will be going for Reapers yourself or you will be defending against the Reapers and finding a way to deal with that. Obviously, some people do Marauder expand, some people go like me. I've been doing, just because it transitions well with mech is to go for a quick factory with a reactor and go for just a couple of Hellions, and you get a couple of Hellions out normally against basic sorts of Reaper stuff, like some people do 2-3 Reapers, and that kind of stuff. It's fine, because while yes, a Reaper does beat a Hellion, they won't be able to beat multiple Hellions. Anyway, so we'll just kind of move on from that. Hang on, let me coffee up. That's the stuff. HellBat. So the next one, HellBat attack speed changed from 1.9 to 2. Just a slight change, not really too much of an issue there. I don't think that'll really affect anything in itself, but the next things really do affect how the HellBat is used. Pre-igniter upgrade no longer increases HellBat weapon damage. Yeah. I don't know about that. It's really weird though, because then you get the one just after, and we'll sort of add these together. Napalm spray weapon damage increased from 10 plus versus plus 9 versus light to 18 plus 12 versus light. So this is the one where I think they've said, all right, let's help out mech a little bit, but not too much. Okay, and splash damage, wow, the splash damage radius decreased from 110 to 45. Jesus. Okay, so what this does, looking at it from Blizzard's eyes, I would say, just as the way they've wanted to change things and help out mech, a lot of the time, as for anyone who's tried to mech in TVP, or if you've seen other players do it, a lot of the time a very standard Protoss reaction is to go for a lot of Zealots, Archons, and Immortals. Now, this is really interesting, because this is sort of taking the bonus off pre-igniter and then just making it like a default kind of thing on the HellBat, which means that it puts you in a situation where you have to make a decision about how you're going to use the initial few units that you buy, and then also those initial units that you get later on in the game. Because of course you're going to want to, with Hellions in mech, you really want to do run buys. You want to take advantage of the fact that the Protoss sometimes won't be on their toes, won't be able to defend probe lines, these kinds of things, and won't be able to shut down harassment. So you've got to use a fast unit to do that. You've got to do a lot of damage with it. So it makes this an interesting choice, because sometimes if the guy is going for a lot of Zealots, you're going to need these HellBats right at the front line to just absolutely murder the shit out of Zealots, because then, because they'll just burn the shit out of everything with this. That's a heap of damage, man. So I think that it helps out mech a little bit. It makes it kind of a little bit weird in the case that you really have to be very careful with your choices, which is one thing that I think that they have done really well with some of these new units and some of the changes in HOTS. Yeah, that really changes it. It's really interesting. So next one, Medevac. Caduceus Reactor no longer improves the healing rate of Medevacs. Upgrade cost decreased from 150 in 110 seconds to 180 seconds. The healing rate. So that means it just changes the amount of energy used, I'm guessing? Okay. You guys in the chat, is that what that means? So it means that instead of doing, what was it? They do like 8 heals per second at the cost of 1 energy or something. They now they still do 5 or 3 or whatever it is for 1 energy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that means just that the cost of a heal, the normal heal, whatever it was. See, I don't know these things because I never built medevacs. Okay, so just fix that up a little bit, because I mean, as Day 9 was looking at yesterday in his Day 9 Daily, when he was looking at a game between NSOSO Golem and White Ra, if you just grab a couple of medevacs out with the Caduceus reactor, they do so much healing. It's actually really hard to stop them sometimes. You have to be like perfect with your either with your feedbacks and get the feedbacks down and all these kind of things. There you go. Alright, so health restored per second from 9 to 15 in patch 8, and energy costs reduced from 3 health to 5 health per 1 energy. Okay, so now it'll be, so it's still going to be 5 health per 1 energy, but it won't be the restore, the HPS doesn't go up anymore. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think it's good. I still think it's interesting that you change the cost. You change the cost of the upgrade and the actual time it takes to get it, but it's still on the fusion core. Yeah, that's a little bit odd, but whatever. Emergency thrusters renamed to ignite afterburners. We're getting our Top Gun on here. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know. Like I do think that medevacs did need a small change, and I think this might be it. Because when you had the Caduceus reactor, when it was on the tech lab on the starport and didn't need the fusion core, and you had the ignite afterburners, and it was all in the same patch, it was like, are you guys fucking smoking something insane? Like, just because that was ridiculous. But whatever. Like, I think I saw Flo when I was watching Flo play, and she was just dropping shit everywhere with the afterburners and healing everything up real quick, and it was insane to watch. I'm like, this is bullshit. Anyway, next one, Raven Seeker Missile. The terrible missile has now been changed a little bit. Energy cost decreased from 125 to 75. Primary target damage reverted from 300 to 100. Weird. Seeker Missile once again deals splash damage, and the timer prior to firing has been increased from 3 to 5 seconds. I'll be honest, I don't really need to use Seeker Missile much, because when I play Terran, the only thing I want to use a Raven for is detection and PDD. So I did try and use the Ravens in one of the patches. In one of my HOTS games, I used it to snipe queens. It was really funny. You get a Raven out reasonably quickly, so you can use it to clean up creep tumors with the first bunches of Hellions you get. And I was like, I would run, sort of sneak into a mineral line, and it would look like I was going to put a turret down or some random thing like that. But no, you actually just target the queen with one of the Hunter Seekers and then run away while it kills the queen. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think this will help out a little bit. Like, the energy cost is pretty good. I'm sure a lot of Terrans who play a standard sort of style will be like, yes, this is really cool. I hate when they do this. I fucking hate when they do this. Seeker Missile once again deals splash damage, but it doesn't actually say how much and what is the radius. This is what people want to know. Like, Blizzard do a fantastic job with their patch notes. It's not like they're, well, actually, in some games they do a fantastic job with their patch notes. It's not like this is a Diablo 3 team, which, you know, randomly just throw out patches and then don't actually detail them. But this kind of thing really, really annoys me when they don't do this, because they do this all the time, and they're like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to randomly throw out that this does this, and then you're going to have to deal with it. People want to know exactly what it is. Like, no one knew for quite a while that the Planetary Fortress does splash damage. No one knew. Where was the detail? Nowhere. It was really crazy. Anyway, enough Blizzard bashing for now. Reaper. So this is the changes to the Reaper. I should have actually gone through this when I spoke about this one, but Battlefield Awareness passive ability has been removed from the game. Of course, this was the one that lets them see up cliffs, even if they didn't have high ground vision from another unit. Movement speed increased from 3.38 to 3.75. This is a really interesting one. We'll get to it in a second. Nitro Packs upgrade has been removed from the game. P45 Gauss pistol weapon damage decreased from 4 plus 9 versus light to just 4. Alright. So this, all of this combined with the no more tech lab thing turns the Reaper into a really nice way to open up and get a little bit of damage done. Like, it's not super overpowered now. So now that I think about it, maybe TVT won't be as destroyed as I first thought it was. Because these guys are now super fast. They're already faster than like a Stalker. This puts them up there in a pretty high speed. But the thing is that their damage has been changed. So they'll no longer be absolutely annihilating probe lines, SCV lines, whatever, those kinds of things, because they won't be able to, do as much damage. It'll take, what's that? So it'll take like, oh god, it's 9 a.m. and I have no math skills. I think it's like, what is it, 8 shots or something? Probably more, 8 or 9 shots, maybe 10, in fact, to actually kill a worker. Is that right? I don't know, something like that, but it will be a change there, which is interesting to see. So it really turns it into this high mobility. It's kind of like having a Ling in a way, because it's extremely high mobility. You can get them super fast because you don't need the Tech Lab add-on. They don't do a massive amount of damage, but if you leave them alone for a little while, perhaps they will. I think it's funny that they removed Nitro Packs. It's like, yeah, we've tried to, we originally, it's actually, now it's really funny when you think about it, because we've gone from Wings of Liberty beta when people would go like, 7 racks Reaper or whatever and some ridiculous shit to deal with Zerg, and then they move the Nitro Packs so that you need the factory. The Reaper then becomes completely useless, and then we're back now where you can get it without the Tech Lab. It's got really high speed. It doesn't have a huge amount of damage, but it's still really good for scouting out. So, I don't know. I think this will be probably one of the biggest things of this patch. It'll be really interesting to see how this goes. Siege tanks no longer require an upgrade in order to enter siege mode. Holy crap! This is really big. This is really big in a couple of ways, because in fact these two, the Reaper thing and the siege mode thing, is pretty big. Both of them. This means that you no longer have to forget to get siege mode on Akalon Waste when I was playing against the Zerg, and I died because of it. So, no joke, I swear I pressed it, and then suddenly when he shows up with Hydras and Roaches and Speed Hydras and Speed Roaches, and I'm like, oh shit. No, it wasn't Speed Hydras, it was just Speed Roaches. Anyway. So yeah, this obviously, and the gas cost has changed. This means that you can probably sit on 1 gas for a little while longer. I'm just sort of thinking about it in my head. You could probably sit on 1 gas as a Terran for a little bit longer, just purely because of the fact that you don't need to spend that 125, I think it is, for siege mode. So you can save that for a little bit longer. And of course, not having extra gases needed means that you can get more Hellions out. If you want to go for a higher Hellion count, you can of course maybe get a 3rd base or even a 4th command center a lot quicker. It's kind of really, this has a lot of real big side effects, I think, in this change. But we'll have to sort of think about it a little bit more. Actually, yeah, that's a really good point there. Gamers pointed out, waiting for the siege to finish to do the 3 siege tank push is gone. That's very true. I think perhaps if you're going to be playing HOTS over the next few days, maybe the next week or so, look out for the very old school 3-tank Marine with the floating racks coming along to give you vision of the high ground. That might have a little bit of a comeback now that you don't have to wait for siege mode. Holy shit, that is going to be powerful. Jeez, but anyway, So these two are pretty big. This one has the siege tank thing has a lot of ripple effect connotation, not connotations, ramifications. That's the word. It was something to do with Asians. Um, and then, of course, the Reaper now changed to much more of a just a kind of a Ling. I think I'm going to think of it a little bit more as a Ling. Is in that, you know, you send a couple of them out. You may get a little bit of damage done, but realistically, don't expect to. I think the way is to look at that. Mothership Vortex ability has been removed from the game. Thank God for that. You know, turn it into this shitty, you know, I'm going to kill one unit. Yeah. It's like that person at a party who just stands there at the side and complains about how bad the drinks are. Mothership Core Envision ability has been moved to the Oracle. The Oracle's Time Warp ability has been moved to the Mothership Core. And the Mothership, I don't know how I feel about this. Because you got to think about it in the context that in PvP, I'm just going to go with PvP first off. In PvP, people would go for, if someone went for DTs, you could feel relatively safe because of the fact that even if you didn't go Robo, if you went Stargate, if you went really quick Blink or something like that, if you didn't have the Robo for the Observer, you could at least say, it's all cool, dude. I've got a Mothership Core and it's got Envision. And it doesn't actually cost that much either. So, it's kind of, I don't know, this will be really interesting. This kind of helps out PvP for DTs. If you want to use DTs a little bit more, your opponent doesn't go for Stargate and, you know, they go for a slightly slower Robo or something. That, I don't know. I'm not saying DTs are going to be the cool thing to do, but it'll be interesting. And of course, this also makes it a little bit more difficult to deal with Widow Mines at the start. I'm not sure if Blizzard, you know, sort of considered that, but whatever. Time Warp on the Mothership Core and the Mothership is really awesome. I think that's much more of a Mothership spell, just because it's cool. Infesta fungal growth damage decreased from 30 plus 10 versus armored to 30. Alright, that's cool with me. Okay, part of the reason for this, I would guess, is because a lot of Zerg players, Gamer, I don't know if you can comment on this in the chat, a lot of Zerg players go for Infesta Ultralisk. I sort of just wanted to say that, then have some coffee because it sort of puts a, you know, a little bit of a boldness on that. But Infesta Ultralisk, because the Ultralisk now do that, what is it? It's like 45 damage per hit on anything or something ridiculous like that. And from a lot of the replays that I've been grabbing, it seems a lot of Zerg players are just like, you know what, fuck you, I'm going for Ultra Infesta. I'm going to use the Infestas to lock down your units, and then the Ultralists do their big hug shit, and it just kills everything. And it's really difficult to try and deal with that. So I think this, like, while it's not massive, like it's only a 10 damage change, and against armored units, aka every fucking Protoss unit, it's something. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure what to think about that. Like, obviously, I think a nerf on Infestus is good anytime, but yeah. Mutalisk Regeneration passive ability renamed Tissue Regeneration, and its tooltip has been updated to improve clarity. It sounds really stupid, but I really like this upgrade. I think too many Zerg players will just be like, I'm just going to throw my mutas away. Ultra Infesta, Viper Ultra. Yeah. Either works. I've gone through a bunch of replays, like quite a lot of replays, and for Heart of the Swarm, because I've just been running around the internet asking for people for replays, because seemingly no one ever posts them anywhere, but if you ask people, it really helps. Yeah, I've seen both. Like I've seen Viper Ultra, I've seen Viper Infesta Ultra, very late game. And I've seen Ultra and Festus. So, you know, either way, back to mutas. Yeah, I think this is a really cool upgrade. It helps out with making mutas a little bit more viable for quite a while, and particularly in some of the matchups like ZVP. A lot of players just sort of neglect mutas just because, well, he's got Storm, he's got Blink Stalkers, he's got Archons, he's now got like Phoenix, you've got Oracles, you've got all these various counters. Granted, only two of them really are hard counters. That's actually, yeah, that's really weird. But a lot of players just sort of neglect them. The other cool thing is that in TVZ, it's really cool because people do, no joke, I've had this happen so many times in Heart of the Swarm when I was playing Terran. People go for like mass Lings and mass Banes, and then transition into mass Mutas. And it's predictable every single time. Sometimes I don't even need to scan and you can see this shit coming. And I posted a picture a while back where a guy came at me with 39 Mutas, and I knew it was coming, and had 6 stores ready and killed them all, and it was just brilliant. But I don't know. Either way, I think this is really cool. While you know, nothing has been changed realistically, I think that upgrade is pretty cool. I think I saw Gamer has posted David Kim on thoughts on Balance Update 11. I would read it in Davy's voice, but my voice doesn't go down up that high, sorry, and I don't sound like a jockey. So, let's just have a quick look. HellBat, Medevac. The Medevac heal beam upgrade didn't go as intended. We wanted players to be able to use HellBats as meat shields, but instead players were just using Marines and Marauders. The HellBat changes in this patch should allow players to more easily combo HellBats no matter what army composition they're creating of their games. What? Oh, okay. So they wanted to use HellBats along with Medevac. That's Jesus Christ. You need to learn how to write, buddy. Okay, so Siege Tank. This change should mainly affect TVP, so the tech into mech is easier. True. As I said, it changes. It has a lot of ripple ramifications based on that. It's not necessarily the fact that, bam, Siege Tanks are OP. And as Gamer said in the chat, you know, 3 Siege Tank pushes, and the thing I mentioned with Marines and the floating racks to screw things up is going to be just totally ridiculous. It may be, but I think the effects on the economy are a little bit better. Seeker Missile. We felt that the splash damage version of the Seeker missiles were much more useful than the single target variety. At the time, the new method for firing missile made more sense, as shooting missiles at point-blank range doesn't hit with a 100% chance. On top of that, we'd like to test out a cheaper, more difficult-to-hit-with version of the Seeker missile so that we can hopefully see some more dodging versus hitting gameplay with this ability. Interesting, alright. Okay, then we've got Reaper. We feel that the biggest issue with Reapers is that burst damage happens way too fast, especially in TVT. If players aren't spot on defensively, the game can easily end right there due to how fast Reapers are killing light units. The changes in this patch are aimed at keeping Reapers as very dangerous units, but by getting rid of their burst damage and adding an extremely fast movement speed along with no tech requirement, we're hoping Reapers will be primarily effective when health regeneration is utilized. Additionally, we feel that scouting is much more important in Heart of the Swarm, and we want the Reaper to be easily be mixed into armies at any point in time in order to scout better. We anticipate this could have the most impactful change with the patch, so please give it extra attention and test thoroughly before giving us your feedback. Time Warp Envision. Envision has been simply giving Protoss mobile detection for free from the beginning of the game, and using many Time Warps in one battle turned out to be too much versus Terran bio-based play. Therefore, we decided to switch out the 2 spells. Envision is now more of a choice, and Time Warp is limited per battle. We removed Vortex and added Time Warp because the Mothership because we felt the Time Warp is a lesser version of Vortex, which we thought went too far in Wings of Liberty, and that the new Vortex was just not interesting enough. God damn, you got that right, buddy. Um, Fungal growth. We've been seeing fungal growth become less effective in Heart of the Swarm. However, we've wanted to push this ability out a bit in further for the reasons stated in previous situation reports. We feel that it is most necessary core use of the ability is fighting against mutalisks. So we tried a general downgrade against all armored units to see how that goes. What? The core use of this ability is fighting against mutalisks? What? Okay, whatever. That's I don't know. Like I know in DVZ a lot of players will be like, yeah, I need to use fungal to deal with mutas, but what? That's really weird, man. Anyway, that's enough out of me. So it's going to be a really interesting patch. Unfortunately, I cannot play Heart of the Swarm Terran at the moment because I know if I do, I'll start screwing up my Wings of Liberty Terran, and that will not be good because I'll be playing in the SC2C.com Clan League, the C Clan League that is coming up next week. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. I will be casting this week on Friday a bronze, silver, gold team fight between MGG and QED, I think it is, yeah. And then also on Sunday, I'll be casting the Masters Cup. So hopefully you can all tune into that. And thank you for watching me rant in the morning with coffee. Hang on, wait. See, it's so early in the morning, I can't get it in my mouth really well. Yeah, and yeah, we'll see you on the service.